up, guys? Welcome back to the Indie Shooter YouTube channel and the JP and Trav show. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. Below me, I have my esteemed co-host, Travis Davison. Trav, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. Feeling great. Excited to have Sean on and talk some OK preps, kind of some, south of the border of Oklahoma. Talk about his operation down there with C4. So I'm doing great, man.
Good. And as Trav said, we have our esteemed guest, Mr. Sean Cooper, owner of C4. As Trav said, he does a lot of good things down in the southern Oklahoma, North Texas area. So, Sean, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself to the family here. Just tell them what you do, what you're about, and how you got into what you're doing.
Man, I'm Sean Cooper. I own C4 Sports Performance in Durant, Southern Oklahoma, the 580. I got into this, man. I've been in Durant since 2003. I came to school here. I didn't want to go D2. Just what I try to tell all these kids, and I end up, going D2, and I'm still in that same D2 town now. It's where all three of my kids been born. It's where I get to make a difference. But I played at Southeastern, and then I went and played 5 years in Europe. I played in the GFL. Had some success there, multiple MVPs. And then I came back here, man, and my daughter was born, and it was like, dang, I might need to do something else. And I went back 1 year, and then one of my old coaches, Bo Atterbury, he was the D coordinator when I played. He applied for the head job. He was like, hey, if I get this job, you want to come be my strength coach? I was like, yeah, bet, man. I ain't got nothing else to do but go play. So I ended up doing, taking it. He get the job. Then when he hired me, he was like, oh, yeah, I need you to coach running backs. I was like, what? Like, that wasn't part of the plan. But so I ended up being, the D2 game, I ended up being the head strength coach, coach running backs, on the road, recruiting, man, everything, wearing a lot of hats. And it's crazy because at the time, I didn't make a lot of money. And I just did it, bro. It was the best job ever. And I didn't even know that, they didn't ever have a strength coach. So I started the strength program from scratch. And then, so I basically got to start my own business technically because they never had a strength program. And then I was out on the road recruiting, and I didn't even know that, man, that was 2014 we started that. You're talking 9 years later, we're going to be on the 2024 class, and 10 years later, I'm training dudes, started a business training dudes, and we like 100 miles per hour in this recruiting space, so it was all God, man. He put me there. I didn't know what I was doing, and in that process, I opened a business just on accident, no business plan, nothing. And that's how C4 was born, man. It really wasn't planned at all. And so I got a saying, I say, grace is undefeated because you just do your work, you treat people right, and, grace will open doors that you didn't even know you needed open or wanted open, and, it'll provide the way.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So we were talking a little bit off air. Obviously, I'm in Tulsa. There's, there are a lot of resources in Tulsa for your athletes, not only at the prep level with so many established big 6A schools and whatnot, and even the 5A, 4A types, like they still have a pretty good resources foundation. There's trainers over here, everything like that. Talk to us a little bit about what it was like going to really an untapped area of the state. Down in kind of the Texoma region, if you will, that Durant area.
Mm-hmm. So, for me, I'm from East Texas, so I didn't even know much about it. Like, I played at Southeastern, but, like back then, that was 03, 04. For like the dudes we got, like, we get a dude from Rush Springs, Marlowe, them dudes be some dogs, So, like, I didn't know anything else. When I came back and started coaching, I kind of saw like we would get some of the kids, and for the most part, they would usually be behind developmentally. And so, it just kind of started growing on me. So I just started learning the lay of the land. So like the thing is, man, the kids down here, number one, they coming from a Class A, maybe 8-man, Class A, 2A, 3A school. They probably want to play every sport for their school to have the sport. Their coach is going liable to be coaching another sport and teaching a class. I mean, I've seen head coaches that got to drive the bus down here. So it's just a lack of time availability. Humans can only do so much. And so that's what I kind of noticed when I was coaching, at D2 ball was, we would get a guy, maybe some of the kids from down here, and they just be like, They didn't understand zone eyes and man eyes, leverage and angles. You know, that's not knocking nobody. It's just, man, because they playing football, basketball, powerlifting. They might wrestle. They running track, baseball. You know, they just doing so much. Summer ball. I mean, and so they hadn't put that time in, especially in the sport of football, to truly develop. But man, it was dudes. You know, when I opened business that week, like year 2 maybe, year 1 we had Sydney Youngblood. She played golf at OU. She was actually my first athlete. And when I got her, she was a 3-time state champion. I opened in January. She was a 3-time state champion. We went to church. I went to church with her parents. They were driving to Dallas for training. And that was another thing for us. It was like, man, we got to be able to provide like kids right here, elite performance training without them having to drive to Dallas, Oklahoma City. So she started, and then she was already a champion and signed with OU. So I couldn't mess that up. So that taught me to train smart, which we already did. And then, like the next year, we had Jacob Germany, who he was at the time, he was the number 1 ranked hooper. He was the number 1 ranked hooper in the state of Oklahoma. He's at UTSA right now, about to finish up. 6'11", played with Team Griffin. And those were like 2016. But we didn't even get, you know, it's not that we don't, you know, the level don't matter to us, but we didn't get a D1 footballer to Blake Noel, the cat that's at TCU 2020 class. Took us that long to really get in the trenches. And now you see like this 23 and this 24 class, like, some of these kids been here since they were like 12 and 13. So now you're starting to see like the true development, like Zadavian Sims, the number 1 dude in Oklahoma. I mean, I've been with him since he was 12. And you seeing like these dudes go through it, and now they working and their movement skills are elite. And so it was tough though, man. It was tough. But it took us like 4 years to get it to where like you dudes were like it's nationally known. Like them dudes been in the trenches for a long time working.
Right. Now you bring up being, you know, Class A and you know, just small schools, 2A, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring up that they play multiple sports. What is your kind of philosophy on multi-sport athletes versus specializing? Because, you know, as you know, these days it almost seems like you have to specialize so young, because a lot of parents are like, well, I need my 9-year-old to play baseball only now so he can try and get a scholarship or whatever. Like, how do you feel? Do you think you can train for multiple sports and only play one? Do you like when your athletes play a bunch of sports? What's your kind of your philosophy?
All right. My philosophy is probably still the same as it was 2 years ago, pre-transfer portal, pre-COVID, but there's a reality. And so like my philosophy, I got a daughter. She just turned 11 2 days ago. She got some go. She got some juice. Like she can move. But I've been training her since she was 1. So, but her movement skills, her speed, all that. We on the track. She plays soccer, softball. I got her playing basketball. She don't know what she's doing, but I need her to mentally play something she don't understand to where she in the best. She has to figure it out. I think kids, like, they need to play multiple sports. They do not need to specialize. Like, kids do not need to specialize, especially up until grade 8. Now I think, before, like, you can't, you know, people could show all these, you know, these memes, Christian McCaffrey, we not those different times, man. And I'm not, I mean, he was going to air. I mean, he like my daughter. He been training with Ed since he was little. So, you know, he was going to move different anyway. But, you know, they show all these numbers from like multi-sport athletes. Those were pre-transfer portal COVID times. So like, I think up until grade 8, and when we talk football and any sport, I think up until grade 8, you need to do everything. Once you hit like spring, summer, 8th grade, you need to dial in. Like you need to say, okay, I'm all in on this football, or I'm all in on this basketball. So that's where I have to put my time, attention, my training, my money. If I'm going to play the other ones, I can do it. But in the realm of football, I'm going to talk football recruiting. Division I, Power 5, the contracts are so different now. Every coach is recruiting off, what can you do for me now? When they say a guy's a developmental guy, like By Joe, that's one of our main dudes. Yes, he's developmental in some ways, but right now he still can rush the pass on 3rd down right now. He still can run down on kickoff. He still can be on punt team. He still takes up space on extra point field goal. He still can give Michigan State some value right now. If you can't give, and I've asked this question because I'm a big multi-sport like guy. I mean, every dude we've had, Blake Noel, By Job. I mean, we kind of took those dudes off the court. They were hoopers first. Vontrell Sanders just signed this year, another one. Morgan Pierce from baseball, football. Like we specialized and majored in multi-sport dudes that finally said, okay, I'm gonna do this football thing. Man, if you can't help somebody now, your chances of playing Division I football are going down. And that's just it doesn't matter if I agree with it or not. That's the reality of the landscape right now.
That's good. And I wanted to kind of point to something that, and obviously Trevor's talking about multi-sport. And as we talked off camera, I'm an athletic director, so I talk to my student athletes all the time about the work that it takes to get to that level. The next level, specifically when you talk about college, and then even in colleges, you got different levels, right? So, what are some things that you tell the student athletes that you guys work with, like when they come in, are they shell shocked, or some of them shell shocked, like, man, is this really the work that it's going to take for me to get to this level? How do you deal with those that may not be there at first? Do they get there eventually through your program? Do you have to weed a lot of people out? Like, what do you see?
We've had to weed people out in the past because, and that's a good question. Even to hit on Travis, I consider like our training, like to hit on what he said, even our training, when I broke it down, the way we train we're very multi-directional, multi-planner. We're training athletes to move better. Our training, in my opinion, is like playing another sport, to answer your question from earlier. So then to answer your question, yeah, like especially 7-on-7, everybody want to do it. They want to put the gear on, they want the videos.
Yeah.
But when we tell them, like, hey, bro, we train like you, like I'm telling you, we just got done. When I jumped on camera, like, hey, we just getting dudes was walking out the building at 8:30. Like we're training our expectations is for every guy, unless they're an hour and a half away, like they're training 2 to 3 times a week, year round. Dudes will jump in December tryouts, they hype videos. We get to March, we get to late February, March. Yeah, dudes will start being they like, dang, they really take this. Like I had a dude text me, like they had a tourney this weekend. We had a tourney. A dude text me Monday, like, man, coach, I'm exhausted. I'm this, I'm that. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I text him back, y'all went 1-2 this weekend. I'm exhausted too. And that's just the reality of the situation because but especially with football, like you told me you wanted to play college football.
Yeah.
If that's what you said, there is no I'm exhausted.
That's a fact.
Now, and to hit on that point,
could you imagine OU players telling Schmitty that they're just exhausted, they're not coming in?
Yeah, Smitty ain't going for that, man. I've been doing Smitty out there 10 years. Like, no, it don't exist. Good this test, that test, it don't exist. And I think, and this will hit on this too. And it sucks. Like for the schools that I deal with too, like, man, they need them dudes to play. But it really sucks, man. Like, the multi-sport deal. But I believe too, if a kid has no aspirations to play college sports and we know they got no ability to do, I think they should play every single sport they want. Have the time of your life, be a kid, you're not getting and even the dudes that want to do it, you're not getting your childhood back, but you got to understand what you said you wanted. There's some sacrifices that have to be involved, and we don't have to sacrifice your childhood, but some other stuff going to have to be sacrificed.
Yeah. No, I mean, you hit it spot on, man. I have a handful of athletes. I'm at a small school, right? And so they come and tell me, hey, Coach Posey, I wanna play college, like for real. I said, I asked him, I said, do you mean that? Do you mean that? Because I'm like, if you mean that, then I'll put you through some stuff, right? We'll work with you, but you gotta understand what it takes and the mindset that you have to have. And a lot of kids just they don't get it. So that's huge, especially like what you said with at the end of the day, if you're gonna lock in, you got to be locked in. And you can't make excuses. Obviously, life is hard; things happen, but you got to put it in and keep going. Another question for you: who are some people you're training with now that you really feel like have the potential to kind of go to the next level?
And they don't already have the juice yet?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk like 25 and beyond. Obviously, you train Kevin Sperry, yeah?
Yeah.
Out of, what is he, out of Round?
Rock Hill.
Rock Hill, yeah. So, I mean, from everybody I've talked to, that kid's the truth. Going to be one of the top signal callers in the nation. So talk a little bit about him. And then, as JP said, some of the guys that maybe aren't on the radar, but you expect to be on the radar.
So, yes, Perry, I mean, I think right now, you start really with Zadavian Sims, the Durant D lineman. That's the big dog. And that probably, him, it means a lot to me because I see him, we've been here forever. Same for Kenyon Kelly. He got the OU offer too, the safety from Denison. They've been here since they were babies, man. Like, I'm gonna shoot y'all some pictures when we get off of y'all gonna be like, bro, what? And we even got a video series where it was like before the offers, before the stars, where I got videos and you can see, but like you start with Sims, Sperry, the 25 class. Kevin Sperry, he different. He's here. I mean, he's here training 2-3 times a week. He's driving an hour. He's driving from Prosper. So he's leaving the city, driving past options in Dallas to come to Durant, Oklahoma. So that lets you know he built different. And so you got Sperry. That 25 class is loaded because you got Sperry. You got Sperry in there leading that up. And then we got the kid from Winniewood, Caden Knighton. He blowing up right now. He won state in the 100 last year. He been there. First time I seen him, bro, he was in 7th grade. We had a middle school showcase. He was in 7th grade, man. He was like 13 years old. He broad jumped 9.3. I'm like, oh, we got to have him.
That's crazy.
He's got his OU offer, doesn't he?
No, he don't got OU yet. He has Colorado, Michigan State, U of H, UTSA, I think Texas Tech. He got a gang of them.
I'm sure he will, I'm sure. Yeah.
He'll 25. We got a kid in Idabel, Matrell Lopez. He don't got no offers yet, but I'm telling you, he all the way with it. Like he all the way with it. The kid is a kid playing with us, start playing with us. The kid from Carl Albert, the DB that got OU, Tristan Haynes. He long, he prototypical body, he long.
That Carl Albert, they've always put out dudes. Like historically, it's a successful program, one of the most successful programs in the state. Some would argue the most successful. But I think OU tossed out like 3 or 4 offers to Carl Albert dudes in one day.
And Venables was here that day. He told me, he said, I'm finna go. He had so I was like, hey, boom, 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 boom. I was like Tristan Haynes and he was talking about X Robinson. He looked at me because he was at the facility. He was like, hey, I'm finna go up there and offer all them boys. And he went that day and I look on the internet, he flew, he like 2 hours later, all them boys had offers. But yeah, Tristan is real. Ravion Larry, the running back from Idabel. Yeah, Idabel got 2. I think Idabel got 2 Power 5 2025 dudes. Yeah. Ravion, Ravion's here.
Ravion seems like he should be a top 10 running back in the country.
Yeah, he's so explosive. He's so explosive. It's crazy because we got him and Caden, and they both are top dudes. Caden ran the 10-6, 10-700 at 190 pounds, and then Caden put up 2,300 yards rushing this year. And so then, and Ravion, everybody likes Ravion because he hits it. But then we got in Oklahoma, it's another kid. It's a kid in Ada. We got just like Tristan, long corner, athletic. He actually broad jumped 10-2 at training camp like 2 weeks ago. Deontay Lindsay, he gonna be a dude. He gonna take off. Deontay Lindsay, he'll take off. We got we got some Texas dudes like Jalen Holloway, another running back we got. He got UTSA from Pittsburgh, Texas. Rashad Hurt is the dude in Lawton. He plays for Javon Harris. Hey, he gonna be a dude. He's 25. That's gonna be that is a dude. I see it. And it's a kid at Prosper, just regular Prosper. His brother just signed with Tulane, Blake Summers. His brother is Hunter Summers. He one of the best receivers we got in our program. Just think, little brother, he's smart, savvy, catches well. And so that 25 class, our 25 class is stacked, but the 25 class in the state of Oklahoma in general is unreal. That might be one of the best classes the last 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, when you started to see all those 2025 offers go out that day, it was like I think we offered like 30 Oklahoma kids, like something crazy.
Yeah,
something like that. How does that make you feel when a guy like Brent Venables, who has seen talent from coast to coast, knows all the ins and outs of college football recruiting over the last 20 years, how does it make you feel when you're like, hey, I got these dudes, and then you start seeing on Twitter all these offers pop up?
Well, he was going to offer them dudes anyway, but then I was telling him, like, hey, look, Tristan with us, like, he this. It just, for him, it ain't even about, like, me telling this, the fact that, we've developed a relationship with that staff.
Right.
For him to have the trust to be able to look me in my eyes and know that, like, I'm not going to go on Twitter, like, hey. He was just like, hey, I'm going to go off all them dudes. And for him to know that, for him to be here, and for him to, just recognize and respect our program for what it is. And then he finally saw the facility in person, and that kind of help is just good, man. That's a great staff. I really like them dudes. He a real dude. I knew it day one. We went to the Elite Junior Day last year. The day Eric McCarty committed, like we was right there. And like that was our first time meeting him, and we was there. It was like McCarty and Bob Job, and I mean, I knew the first time I met those dudes. Like when they spoke, and then when BV spoke, I was like, oh yeah, this is different. And they gonna win. It just winning takes time. It takes longer than most people think, and understand. But them dudes good. But in our 26th class.
What all coaches on the OU staff have you met? And then who are you drawn to probably most out of that group?
I met them all, but I probably say I talked to B Hall the most. I mean, I talked to B Hall. B Hall has become a friend. Same for Bates and Chavis. So I talked to them three about who I go. Those are who
Because Bates and Chavis have been down to the facility.
Yeah, Hall has been here. Hall has been here about 3 times. So I talked, and that part of that was probably because he was the guy recruiting McCarty. But I end up, and B Hall and I share a lot of similarities. Small school, college football coaches, hard workers, blue collar underdogs. So we get along well. Bates is great. Chavis is great, but Chavis is gonna be a head coach one day. Off personality, off demeanor, off assertiveness. How he takes over a room in the right way, not demeaning others. But I deal with those 3 the most. But I probably talk to B Hall the most. I talk to B Hall a lot.
B Hall was named the Big 12's #1 recruiter by 247. So I love it, man. I love coming down from Troy. That Troy defense is nasty this year too, and that's his system. So I think when a lot of people saw that hire, they're like, wow, what's going on? But yeah, heck of a hire right there, no doubt about it. You said you got 26 class coming up?
That's the class. See, 23 crept up on us. Like 22 was always our class. That was, we had Ish Harris go to A&M. We had Jadarian Price at Notre Dame. Trudell Berry played at Vandy as a true freshman. We had some dudes. I mean, we had 20 dudes signed. But we always knew 23 crept up on us out of nowhere. Like it was 23 was like this dude. It was like boom, we got a gang of dudes. And then Bob jumped in the mix. It was like, dang, because we had been with Morgan. 24 is top heavy. 24 is really top heavy. And we've added some pieces. 25 just gets cold. I mean, but 26, nice. Because you got to think we had 3 8th graders with offers last year. 3 26s had offers before they left 8th grade. We got the #1 dude in Oklahoma, Colton Yarbrough, the big 6'5" kid at Durant. I mean, he's 6'5". In Michigan State camp, he was 6'5", 221, ran a 4.79, 4.8 flat, 82-inch wingspan. So he the #1 26. He got 6 offers. Yeah, he got
great.
He got Vandy, Miami, Michigan State, Colorado, UIW, Arkansas. Yeah. So he got a gang. He had all of them in 8th grade, other than Colorado. He just got Colorado 2 weeks ago. We got a kid, Frisco Liberty, is actually my cousin. My cousin, Amarian Porter. Last year, he had the fastest 200-meter time in the country at one point in 8th grade. He ran 22.0. He triple jumped a 43 in 8th grade. He long jumped 21.7 in the 8th grade. And so he scooped. He got Arkansas, Michigan State, and UIW. And then we got a kid, Ryland Mars, who's at Honey Grove. You know where Honey Grove, Texas is, bro? It's like right here, one stoplight. Do they even, bro? They might not even have a stoplight.
You got a stop sign.
Bro, we got a kid, Ryland Mars. He ran a 10.7, 14 AAU Nationals this summer. Ran a 10.7. He got second in Texas State games, 10.9, 14. He's still 14. He don't turn 15 to the end of February.
Wow.
He went out and had 2,100 total yards, 27 tubs on varsity. And then he got a brother that had 1,000 yards rushing. That's a 24. Now Ryland Real, you got them. Then it's another kid in Durant, Cole Robbins. He gonna be the truth. He'll be an FBS kid. We got another corner in Mount Pleasant, KD Cannon, little brother, Deuce Thompson. He the truth. He'll go. We got the kid at Hugo who prep red zone, got the #1 ranked receiver, Quincy Shelton, and he the #2. He might be the #2 ranked point guard too. He gonna be a 2-4 dude. He one of them dudes. Quincy Shelton, Hugo. Not that. Then it's a kid at McAllister, the kid that probably be the running back, Jordan Clark. He came in and spelled McCarty at times when the other 2 guys were. Wow, he got them. Man, this 26 class. It's a kid at Leonard, Jacoby LeCook. He got newcomer of the year in that district with Gunner and all that. No, this 26 class. I might step out the game after they get out.
What? I mean, by that time you'll have. I mean, that whole like 23 class are all going to be draft eligible. So I mean, obviously you're 22 guys, but then you're like, okay, now who needs me to come be their pro trainer?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Bob Joe told me I ain't got to work no more, so we gonna see.
There you go. But why do you think that is? That the 25 class is so good, the 26 is even better. Does that speak to the talent? Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe the metro keeps on extending farther out, and there's more populace in that area, farther away from Dallas, farther away from Oklahoma City. Do you think resources are better? Do you think you got a guy like you training these kids younger? Like, what is it? Do you think that all these classes are getting better and better? And don't be shy if you're like, hey, bro, C4's here, and that's why everybody's just getting offers.
Hope, bro, hope. So these guys give them hope, and we're gonna be real. You see a guy like McCarty, Dax Collins, the 24 that's at Poto. Here Dax certified. They look like now it's kids like that look like them that got a lot of hope, bro. And they did it like them coming from a 2A, from a 3. Bajo came from 2A. Morgan Pearson was a 3A kid. Blake Noel played in the national championship at TCU. He was the first Power 5 kid we had. He was a 2A kid that didn't look like what your skill position player really looked like. Mm-hmm. So now all them kids that were young, we've been, since the message and the work been the same, but now that we finally got over that hump and now they seeing like true benefits of it and it's hope. Now kids got hope. Now they working like them. Now that's why you got kids like, you have sleepers like Jonah Bowman. He's a 24 too that plays with Kevin Sperry. He driving an hour from Prosper. He here 3 times a week. He got hope. He knows it can be done. He knows that if he just come in and work his butt off, people coming through here, they just hope, man. That's the one we working, but it's hope though. It's a lot of hope.
Right. No, I get that. And obviously having all the college coaches come through, always helpful. And just seeing the guys ahead of them, right? Like
them dudes ahead of them, man. They gave them hope, like
those big P5 offers to programs that recruit nationally.
Yeah.
To get those big P5 offers. I want to give you the opportunity live to squash the rumors that you just recruit for Michigan State.
Bro, it'd be funny too on the internet. I'm like, bro, what I'm trying to think of one time it was crazy, like something major had went on like on the internet and they was like Michigan State. I'm like, bro, I just talked to Ty Bates for 40 minutes this morning like that. No, bro, we don't. Here's what I say. We have the same amount of people signed to Michigan State as we do OU in the 23 class. 1. Technically 2. If you take Brandon Harper, who signed as a walk-on, we actually got more to sign at OU in 23. Because we had 2. It's not the only place that we had 2 dudes signed. Really what's crazy is we have more kids at East Central than we do at any place. Now Southeastern just, after this class, would overtake it. Southeastern I have more, but man, we recruit for what's best for the kid. That's the thing, and by Joe's recruitment, everybody was like, yada, yada. Nobody even cared to ask a question to say, oh, well, maybe the general manager being a Muslim, the guy he deals with the most being a Muslim had a lot to do with that.
Well, that's what bugged me about like the By Job thing. People just see Norman on there and they're like, well, he's got to go to OU. I was like, dude, it's religion. It's foreign. Like Vanderbilt had a bunch of their staff that was, from other countries. And they're like, that kind of stuff matters to a guy like By Job. Like this isn't a guy that was born in Norman, went to Norman North and, that's not what it is. And I think people need to understand. I got into it with a guy the other day that like Danny Okoye. Like, I don't think he'll take a single visit to OU, and he doesn't want to go to OU, and that's fine. And I try and get out there. Just because you're from Oklahoma doesn't mean that your dream is to go to OU, and that's fine. And I was posing the question to a guy who goes, "Stop making excuses for these coaches. They need to land the Oklahoma kids." I was like, dude, it's not up to them sometimes, man. No. Like, how are you going to tell a kid? And I'm not saying this about Okoye, but say a guy's say both of his parents went to OSU. Say he lives in Stillwater. Say he's got a sister at OSU, and he's got a bunch of his high school teammates from the year before playing in Stillwater. And you mean to tell me that you're going to blame the OU coaches for not getting that kid? Like, what are you thinking? Like, I think it's partly because fans, they're fanatic, right? They can't imagine that anybody would ever like a school more than their school. Like, they cannot imagine it.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with recruits and whatnot, and they're just like, yeah, like, I like OU, it's home, but like, maybe I want to get out and see the rest of the country. Like, maybe I, want to be somewhere else. Like, and that's okay. It's just like, people need to lay off and it's like, Michigan State was a right fit. Vanderbilt would have been a really good fit.
Man, and Vandy, that's nobody understood. Everybody was like, why Vandy, bro? Like, let me tell you something. Them dudes, they just offered Kevin Sperry tonight. Bro, them dudes at Vandy, dog, that's one of the best programs I've been to. Clark Lee, you talking about a dude that got it going, that knows what he wants for his program, that has a foundation, that's going to stick to the foundation. Clark Lee is elite, dog. Like, I'm telling you, he's elite. Like, and so people were like, why no way he goes to Vandy, bro. He was like, Vandy was in the play. That wasn't we weren't going to Nashville for nothing. Like, we went twice. Like, Vandy was really in the play. And it's different. It's different out there in Vandy, man. Like, and Nashville.
Vandy's a good school too.
Great school, man. And that was the education at Vandy. Plus, playing in SEC and it's just that those things matter. But no, man, we don't, man. I'm for the kid. I'm for the kid. I'm telling you, B Hall is one of my friends. Like, I seen that on B Hall. I'm happy like it happened to me. Like, we're for the kid, and every kid has their own. They have their own set of issues, their own set of beliefs, and their own set of needs that are specific to their particular goals, their life, and their families. And like I said, every kid. Nobody. I've said this, I ain't never said this publicly, but nobody like even posed the question, be like, okay, man, the general manager at Michigan State is Muslim, Bajo's Muslim, be like, Allah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that may have been the biggest factor. And the nutritionist is from Yukon, Oklahoma. And then there's a guy that's high up, and we met him. There's a guy that's high up at Michigan State that went to high school and played basketball with Bajo's American dad, with Jim Bond, known him their whole lives.
There you go, right there. Just hitting on what you guys are hitting on. That's the most frustrating thing to me too. Is like, how do people not understand? There's nuance in everything, right? Like, just because these kids are first of all, they're kids, right? Second of all, like, just because they're D1 athletes that can do things you never imagined you could do and have these opportunities does not mean that they automatically get to be put in a box. And that's what everybody wants to do, is put them in a box, because, like, as Trav said, most fanatics are like, how can you not pick my school, especially if you're in that state? And it's like, man, like, just like you, everybody has different experiences that they've had. And so you never know what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, like, what people in the position you're in, or as a coach, or even me as an AD, like, it's our job to be for the kid, not to, if you're doing it the right way. Right.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for the kid and what the kid actually wants, what his family actually wants. We're not going to pander to fans or anybody else. So it is what it is.
Facts.
So what's the future of C4? Is your eventual goal to expand, hire more trainers and coaches and that, and expand that business? Do you want to go private, and do you want to get on with a college and be a strength and conditioning coach there? Do you want to, what's without this being too job interviewy, what's Sean Cooper doing in 2030?
2030? What's this, 2023? 2023, 7-5. Man, 2030, man, I think that's when my daughter graduated. What is this, 2027? Yeah, my daughter graduated. I'm just coaching we will, C4 is obviously what it is. We got trainers and we got coaches, man. Keeping them is just so hard in Durant, because a lot of people just don't want to live in Durant. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, younger people don't want to live in Durant. They just rather get out. And so it's been hard. Then that's the thing, I've lost 10 coaches, 10, 11 now, to either hospital like that have coached, either trained here or coached in our 7-on-7 program. In the last 3 years, I've lost 10, 11 coaches to either college football or high school football. We got multiple. The D-line coach at Texas State, that was my right-hand man. I coached him, and then he helped me build the walls of this, like for 3.5 years. Him, UIW, Southeastern, Dixie State, Southeastern's DB's coach, the UCO's linebackers coach, Jesse Harwell, the receivers coach at Mary Hardin Baylor, Hornets, he coached here. Then I got a slew of them like that left and coach college. I mean, coaching high school right now. So man, it's keeping them is so hard, man. So we try to follow that. But 2030, man, I don't know. I'm in the trenches with my son, really, to be real. I got a 5-year-old son, I got an 11-year-old daughter, I got a 4-year-old daughter, and it's really just making sure our business suits us developing. I want to say developing, like making sure I'm able to be everywhere with them and for them. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to football, I'm gonna coach my son all the way through. If I can coach him all the way through high school and college, I'm gonna try to do that. But making sure my daughter's straight, 2030, making sure, mentally, emotionally, she's healthy, getting ready to go to college. That's her graduation year. She's ready to go to college. My son will be in 5th grade by then, 5th, 6th grade, getting him transition, to the next stage and seeing where my youngest daughter is. She's a demon. So seeing where she is, but that's the goal, and making sure our business can suit around that, which business changes, bro. Business looks different now than it did 3 years ago. And business looks different when you start with 1 kid and now when you got 3 kids. And so it's some things like me, like I take my kids to school every day. I turn down money. It's money I've turned down at that hour, that hour from 7 to 8:30, because it's not worth it to me. I got to know I'm pouring life into my kids. It's not nobody else's. That's not their mother's responsibility. That's not their teachers. That's my responsibility, to speak life into them every day. That gives me the peace to be able to be still working at 8 and then be able to jump on this, to know that, I've done that, and I picked my son up and we playing catch and we working out, and it's not about ball, it may be that's what you see externally. It's about my number one goal. I know that we can question a lot of things, but I know God put me here to be a father and lead my family. Mm-hmm. And so that's the number one goal, is making sure our business doesn't take away from that. And I won't let it. I'm like I said, I'll take a financial L before I do that. But just being I'm not present, man, with my kids, and just I don't think I want to expand, because when I say I don't think you want to expand to other cities, because it's just so hard, man. Now you got to do double the work. I watched my buddy, the guy that owns APEC, the guy that trained Pat Mahomes. I played with him. That's a Southeastern guy, Bobby Stroup. I played with him. He trained me when I was a pro. So, I saw him go from just this facility in Tyler to Fort Worth, and I saw the stress. I saw that broad, and I'm smart enough to watch that, and I don't want them problems. I ain't gonna lie, but that, man, I've turned down a couple of college jobs in the last 3 years. So I don't know that again. I don't. If I'm coaching college, man, we might got a workout group from 6 to 8. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of knows that out. For me, with that. That would be the thing, and getting back into college. So I don't know, but I love college though, man. That's where, and I think that allows me to run my business different, because I started in a school setting and then went private, versus just only being in the private sector and training. I was in charge of building teams, so I view it differently. Kids know if a kid misses something school related and comes here, and I find out, I've kicked dudes out of our program for that. That's real talk. 4 on the top of my head. They missed a school event. One dude missed baseball, came here. Missed baseball, went to a 7-on-7 tournament, didn't tell me. I found out, let him go, because that's not developing leaders. It's not developing men, and then ultimately that's putting me in a bad spot with that superintendent, that AD, that coaches, and I don't want that smoke either.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, so maybe once all the kids are graduated, then you'll take that college job.
I might take a college job then.
Well, you need to put that out there and just let all the coaches know, all the programs across the country, say, hey, I'm going to be a free agent here in about 2038 or something like that.
Yeah, we got a minute, bro. We got a minute.
You got time. That's interesting. You say that, I talked to Gentry Williams a lot about his relationship with Coach Valai and stuff like that. And Valai's the same way. He's like, look, I'm not your babysitter. I'm not your mom. I'm not take care of your classwork. He's like, take care of your classwork. I'm here to coach you on how to play football. He's like, I'm supposed to cover the football part of your life. Don't get any trouble off the field, and take care of your classwork. Get good grades, things like that. You're a student athlete. And I know people want to talk about NIL this, NIL that. They're not students anymore. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They're still students. What's kind of your take on what the current state of NIL is? What's the craziest thing you've seen in it? And then where do you think it goes?
I think the the collective is the best way to go. When you got the collective, I think you look OU, Bama, Vandy. When you got the collective, it's the best way to go because I think that helps you keep your locker room organized and intact. And we just got to be real. Then it becomes a part of life. Whereas I'm just throwing out a name. If Bryce Young, because Bryce Young goes gets $1 million deal, you everybody in the locker room got to respect that, and that's what it is. But collectively, we all are gonna get X amount, 15,000. I'm just throwing a number, 15,000. I think the collective is the best way to go. I think it's wild. I think it's there's still no guidelines on it, so I think some people are gonna get burned. More people are gonna get burned. But I don't think, it's crazy. Being in the trenches with it, I don't think it's as bad as media tries to make it. Like, what I mean is yeah, it's crazy numbers out there. It's crazy numbers out there, especially for the quarterbacks. But, that's the lay of the land right now, But, and I don't want to speak on it, but some of them deals crazy, man. If you think, man, I don't know. If you think somebody's going to pay you $15 million, no, it ain't. Because my thing is, all right, you're going to pay me $15 million. You the head coach, right? You're going to pay me $15 million. If we got to win 4 natties, you don't even got $15 million worth of incentives in your head coach's contract. So what makes somebody think I'm worth $15 million? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my thing. But, it's some numbers out there for quarterbacks that I've heard are crazy. But it's a good space. I think it's good. People will say, what I don't like is when people say, some in any realm, NFL, rookie, they don't deserve that. Well, you don't know what that person been through already in their life just to get to that point. We don't know what they deserve. Just because they 18, does 18 make them not deserve it? If they were homeless for 2 years of their life or they watched their daddy beat their mama for half their life, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That was their motivation. That's what allowed them to push, work, to get in position to dominate is the internal hurt that they had. And what nobody deserved.
Well, and like the value of anything, you're worth what somebody will pay you.
You're worth what somebody
you deserve what somebody will pay you. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you think that quarterback's worth $10 million.
Yeah.
If somebody's willing to give him $10 million, he's worth $10 million to that person that paid him. That is the key. And part of it is you get some of these guys that just have insane amounts of money, like the Ruizes of the world with Miami, and they just want bragging rights, and they will pay through the nose to brag to their buddies that they're the ones that got X player or something like that. They want to tell, the Texas oil guys, the A&M, booster wants to tell the Texas booster at his, local poker, or nightly poker game that, oh, I'm the one that got, David Hicks, his track hawk or whatever. Like, it's when you start putting people's pride into it and people's school fanaticism, their fandom involved, people will do pretty crazy things, man. Real crazy things. And if you got the means to do it, it gets wild. But yeah, that Rashada stuff is wild.
Yeah, that was, man. That was, and it is. It's wild, man. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think your foundation, you still gonna have to win. You're gonna win with camaraderie. You're gonna win with work. You're gonna win together. You're not gonna win off money alone. It's not gonna work.
Well, money just makes somebody into a caricature of what they really are, right?
They are.
Like, because it's an obstacle, right? It's a barrier. It's it restricts you, right? Like, if I really wanted to be somewhere else and I was a billionaire, I would go do that, right? Yeah. I would, if I didn't have to go to work in the morning or if I didn't have this, that, the other, money in general it comes down to culture, right? That's why, you know, the theories about if you gave, you know, if you spread out all the wealth in the world and redistributed it evenly to everybody right now, the poor people in 30 years would still be poor and the wealthy people would still be wealthy. Obviously, there are outliers, but good culture, when you put a bunch of kids that are making good money into a locker room that's got good culture, then it'll be fine. It'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
They'll do charity work. They'll keep, you know, they won't, you know, be pocket watching. Like, and that's good. You do something like A&M did, and you maybe have guys speeding through parking garages or, you know, smoking weed in locker rooms or whatever, right? Like, if you just don't have the bad culture, then it will become just exacerbated by money. It'll speed it up either way. So, like I said, I mean, your Bamas of the world, Bama's paying out good money, but they have such a rock solid culture and rock solid just factory of what they do up there. I mean, 10 out of the last 13 years, they've had the number one class. Like that, and that was pre-NIL. So I know everybody says they drive, you know, Saban gives them Chargers anyways. But we, I think, Andy, you want to get into some this or that?
Yeah, we certainly can. So, Sean, basically what we do for this or that, I have a couple prompts that I have pulled up. You have to choose one or the other. Basically, like if you had a gun to your head, this is what you got to choose. You can't do something else. So, oh man, I typed them in and they didn't save.
That's all right. I'm sure you can remember.
Here's what we're gonna do. Let's do some Q&A, and while we're doing Q&A, I'll bring up some more this or that.
Sean, is Honey Grove by Petty, Texas?
No, Honey Grove is by Paris. It's in between Bonham and Paris. I don't even know what Petty is. I'm from East Texas. I don't know what Petty is. It's like that Red River. It's in that Red River code, like Bonham, Paris, takes you down to like Redwater, drive 271 straight to Mount Pleasant.
Are you one of those guys that can, you know, the Bryles legend was always that he could take any two towns in Texas and tell you what roads it would take to get there and all this, that, and the other. Are you pretty well like that in East Texas?
Nah, but my Uncle Boo is, though. The dude who raised me is. No, I ain't like that. Man, I stay locked in, man. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't do nothing, bro. I just stay locked in. I don't got no hobbies like that.
Well, Billy Miner says Petty is right next to Honey Grove.
Yeah, he might know. Billy is from Paris. That's our OC. That's our C4 head coach. He on here. That's our 707 head coach. Now, he would know. He from Paris. He would know more than me. He just got inducted into the Texas A&M Commerce Hall of Fame.
Oh, I got you. Nice. Well, man, should have had Billy Miner on if we needed to do some Texas geography. Some Texas geography. What 7-on-7s you guys doing this summer? Any big ones?
Yeah, we go to LA in 2 weeks. We playing Battle of the Beach. We in LA in 2 weeks. Then we got Tulsa. We actually got Tulsa next week. The prep red zone. We got Tulsa next week, and we got LA the week after that.
You coming through the city? Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up. Yeah, I just thought about that.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously, then we go. Then we going to Nashville. So we'll be over by Vandy. We'll go to Nashville in March. We'll come back to the crib. Then we play one in Durant in April. We get out done. Like by the time you get to spring ball and heavy track, we done. We don't do all that playing 10 tournaments and all that. And it's development and exposure. Get in, get out. Let the kids get reps. Let them get seen. Let them get to school and do what they do and keep training. We're training.
Is Kevin your quarterback?
Yeah, Kevin is the quarterback for our nation team. We got two out of 9. We got our national team, C4 Nation. Kevin's the quarterback. Our Black Ops quarterback is Kyler Finney, who just got his first D1 offer yesterday. And last year we had Kevin, Cal Swanson, who's signed with Illinois, and Camden Six Killer, the Norman North quarterback. He was our Black Ops quarterback last year, signed with McNeese. So we on a run with Q's right now.
I guess so. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Sean, Zach wants your thoughts on the Michigan State situation. I'm not sure specific, I imagine the one yesterday. Yeah.
It is different when you got somebody that's like one of your own kids there. It is way different.
Right.
It's unthinkable, unimaginable. You just wonder what runs through a kid. Should be in college, having fun, getting better, networking, learning new things, trying new things, facing adversity, learning how to deal with adversity, meeting their potential spouse. They shouldn't be having to worry about, somebody running up in their dorms for I don't even know what reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And you having Buy out there obviously is one of your own.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, whether it was that, Virginia Tech, all of them,
all of it.
It's just, man, it's heartbreaking, man, because we sending these kids, even the dudes in Utah, when they came back home and it happened. It's just, and we see, we seeing these kids grow, develop. We talking about them on this show, and then, something like that happens, man. It's sad all the way around. As a parent, it's sad.
Yeah, I can imagine. I got no kids. JP's got a little baby girl.
How old is
she? A couple weeks. She's about to be 1 year in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
March 7th, she'll be 1 year old. So
Maya. Yeah, he was like, man, I can't come down to as many OU games, man. I got the little girl. I'm like, no, I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. You got plenty of time. Wait till we get to the SEC, and then come to all of them.
Hey,
what do you think about that move? OU and Texas going to the SEC, Sean?
Well, it's gonna be interesting. I'm a big Big 12 guy, so I'm the guy that used to argue, like, all right, and I know times are different too, though. Now the game's changed, on the outside, but like Missouri and A&M were like average in the Big 12. They go first year and wreak havoc on the SEC because they brought a different brand of ball to them.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how both of them do. I've been fortunate to see kind of how both programs kind of maneuver and move. It's going to be interesting. That SEC, man, that 8 or 9 game schedule in that conference is. I mean, it's just different. You got to be deep. I think you saw that with Tennessee and Ole Miss this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to, man, yes, I mean, you can be, but and that's where Bama and Georgia just keep kind of standing the test of time is that depth, man.
Is
when you get to week 10,
the
11, 12.
The depth is insane.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 3 deep with blue chippers everywhere, like and good, like that can contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Georgia like something I never seen, man.
It's truly incredible, and that 24 class of theirs is already taken off.
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, in person, like we went to we watched them practice, meet, all that. It's like it's not fair. It does everybody else an injustice or disservice to even compare them. It's not. It's just unreal.
Well, their schedule this year, especially with us taking off of it, they basically got a game at Tennessee, and other than that, you can just chalk in all those W's because
Dubs.
And you might just chalk one in Tennessee, but at Tennessee's no joke, as Alabama learned.
Yeah, no, it ain't. And they got that Tennessee fast. I mean, they got that tempo, and they're gonna go fast, and they're gonna move.
That hypo fast.
Yeah, you got to be.
That hypo fast.
Is that the best quarterback in OU history? What you think?
So, I mean, good. I mean, I think if Kyler or Baker had his defense,
yeah,
I think they're equally as successful.
True that.
I think they win national championships. I mean, I was on a Georgia podcast earlier today, and they were like one of the guys played on the 2017 team, and he was even saying on the podcast, he goes, I know you're going to hate to hear this, but that Oklahoma team was the best in the country that year. He said, but the thing is that 27 defense, like they were not good, but it was just that offense had 11 NFL players.
Yep.
Started like bona fide 11 NFL players. And our backup was the eventual number 1 pick, Kyler Murray. Like, so I think when you look at, I'm not a big, I really don't like to mix team accomplishments with individual accomplishments because I get annoyed when people are like, oh, well, Trent Dilfer is obviously a better quarterback than Dan Marino because, he led them to a Super Bowl. Like, all right, let's relax a little bit. I mean, let's relax. That was the best defense I've ever seen. So, like, stuff like that, like, I don't believe that. Just because of team wins, you do that. Because I actually put a poll up of all their stats. It was Heupel's national championship year, Jason White's Heisman year, and Dylan Gabriel's last year. And Dylan Gabriel, I said, just pick one, A, B, or C. And like 40% of the poll picked Dylan Gabriel's year last year. And the least amount, like 6% of people picked Heupel's year, because they all said, well, I need to know how many wins each of these people had. I was like, quarterback wins it's not a stat. Like, wins are a team stat.
Yeah.
So I do think it would have been interesting had Heupel been able to stay at Oklahoma and see what that would have looked like if he would have been the heir apparent to Bob eventually, as opposed to going with Lincoln and then Brent. I think that's kind of an interesting thought exercise, because, I mean, he's doing a bang-up job where he is, but it's kind of like they're not known for their defense over there. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting because, I don't think Stetson Bennett is, he's not a top 5 pick, but they just had dogs, I mean, no pun intended, everywhere, and had, first round picks, like probably 5 first round picks on the defense alone. So, I mean, at a certain point, you got to get the team credit. But no, Heupel's doing his thing out in Tennessee. And that Nico, dude, I saw Nico out in Vegas at the OT7, the big overtime 7-on-7 in Vegas. Good Lord.
That's what I've heard.
Good Lord. That DGD podcast, that's the podcast I was on earlier, the Georgia one. But, yeah, okay, maybe I did. Maybe I did mean the pun. But yeah, Nico's the truth. I think he's the most college ready quarterback in the country. And I know a lot of people say Jackson is. Jackson Arnold is absolutely the truth. Like, I think that guy's got a great future ahead of him. But Nico, just seeing the way the ball comes off his hand, jeez, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I keep hearing that.
So, all right, this or that time.
All right. Got them teed up for y'all. Now this one we've done in a different way before, but we're gonna do it in terms of the type of athlete that comes out of there, because we got Sean on the show. So, in terms of if these are the 2 places in Oklahoma where you had to get athletes from, what would you choose? 918 or the 405? I already know what Trav's answer is. I want to know what the chat's answer is. And Sean, I really want to know what your answer would be. Gun to your head. You choosing Tulsa? You choosing OKC?
Football or both sports?
Football.
918.
And why?
The history has shown that is different. You like as a whole, you go Dax Hill, Miles Slusher, Darwin. Now the Presleys. If you're talking now, the Hazes, it's different. They different than 918. I've seen dudes be different, like as a whole, but that goes back to the resources. You got resources, everything. I mean, I played with the head coach at Sapopa, Tim Hope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we played college ball together, and so I know, Broken Arrow is a dude that I coached. That's at Broken Arrow. He actually just left. Dalton Julian, man. Another dude I coached that was at Union, Anthony Foster. I just know the resources they got, and I mean, they the closest thing you get to a Texas school.
Yeah, the 6A especially. I mean, you look at the weight facilities, you look at the health and wellness recovery, all that kind of stuff is just, it's next level. And yeah, you run out of breath naming all the guys, right? I mean, you look at just, the 22 class where Genter Williams, Robert Spears Jennings, and Jaden Rowe all ended up at OU. You talk about some speed. I mean, that's some crazy track speed, football, whatever speed you want, they got it. Obviously Braylon, Brennan, those guys, Luke, Dylan, But yeah, Miles is
Micah
one, and
Tees.
Micah Tees and Miles Tees, and
It's your boy, Trav.
just all kinds. But yes, 918 is the correct answer here because this is where the best football in the state is played.
But
Simple
me,
as
I'm
that.
taking the 580 though.
Well, of course.
Because I feel like we develop better than anybody.
Of course.
Nowhere else you got dudes from 3A in the Pac-12. You got Morgan Pearson. You got Blake Noel. You got 2A Cat. You know, nowhere else you getting that.
Right. Yeah, I'll accept 580. So 405 is third place. I like that.
I'm going 580 first. I just try to stay within line of the question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're agreeing that 405 is third. We're going to disagree on 1 and 2.
Right.
But I'm just finding common ground here.
Yeah,
Finding common ground.
We're throwing OKC to the Wolves, pretty much.
Exactly. Hey, OKC should have some representation on the pod. That's what happens when you're not represented on the pod.
That is true. All right. Speaking of 580, as I said earlier, Sean, my family's from Ardmore, so I've been in Ardmore my whole life. So growing up, back when I was in high school, and middle school, two of the biggest names that came out of Ardmore, Long Grove area were Justin Blackman and Jermaine Gresham. So, which one of those two would you take?
Justin Blackman. Blackman. It ain't even.
Yeah. If I had to take one on my team right now, it would be Justin Blackman.
Justin Blackman.
If that guy stayed focused, kept on the straight and narrow, he'd still be in the league.
Facts.
But Justin Blackman was one of those wide receivers that OSU just seems to get, not even counting the Woods family, but the Woods family, you got Tylan Wallace, you got Justin Blackman, you got just all kinds of dudes that have, James Washington, you got all kinds of dudes that have gone over to yeah. And it's like, where are they finding all these damn wide receivers? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I have to agree as well. Justin Blackman was a beast. He was a monster. Like you guys said, if he could have just stayed on the straight and narrow, there would have been.
I didn't even mention Dez.
Huh?
Yeah. The chat caught me up. I didn't even mention Dez Bryant.
Bryant, yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah. No, so Justin actually grew up going to kind of my family's church, Corinth in Ardmore, and so I actually saw him at my great aunt's funeral a couple of years ago. He was ushering the procession and everything, and so
wow,
it's just interesting, man, just to see everything that happened. But I know those are some two big names that come out of 580 in particular. All right, we always do a food one, Sean. We're gonna do some barbecue because I know that's how y'all do it down there. I always tell my Midwest folks up here, every time they try to bring us some barbecue, I'm like, hey, disclaimer, my whole family's from the South, so if I tell you it's not good, don't get offended. Rib tips or brisket?
Brisket.
And why would you choose brisket?
Because if I get the back end of the brisket, I can still get tips too. Yeah. I can get burnt ends.
Yeah. Brisket is the correct move here. We actually did 100% double ground brisket at Trey's as our burgers. And so those are crazy. But yeah, brisket, I was actually Super Bowl party. My buddy Cameron Wright, who is from Ardmore as well. He cooked up some ridiculous brisket for the Super Bowl. It's just when done right, God, it's hard to beat brisket. When done right. The problem is a lot of people don't do it right, a la Lincoln Riley. JP, what's your answer?
I would probably go brisket as well. I'm a big rib tips guy personally, but as Sean said, you can still get burnt ends with the brisket if it's done right. So I would go brisket as well, but it has to be cooked by the right person, like you said, because
Facts.
I'm not just eating dry brisket and nothing like that. It's gotta be flavorful, smoke well over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Y'all know how it goes. So
And it's tough because everybody thinks they cook a brisket great, right?
it's true.
And then they put it on social media and then they get dunked on.
And they get
Because
roasted.
it's like, and
Yeah.
there's so many different ways like people like their stuff, right? Like Turnbuckle on Twitter, like he does like competition barbecue, like all this stuff. Like he smokes awesome stuff all the time. And he cut a brisket like the wrong way, according to somebody in his replies. And they're like, man, you're ruining that brisket. And he's like, no, I'm not. He's like, shut up. I'm cutting it how I want to cut it and eat it. I cooked so many of these. He's like, I cut them the way I want. But like, that's how people will be about barbecue, man. People are very, very tribal about their barbecue, whether it's, kind of a Texas style or Kansas City style or Carolina style or anything like that. It's all different.
That it is. Well, I know we're just about over an hour, so we'll get ready to get off of here. Sean, man, thanks for being on the show. It's been so fun having you, dog.
I appreciate it. I had man. When he told me about it, that's when I started checking it out. But I like what y'all doing, man. It's real. It's genuine. I peeped it out. A few 2 weeks ago when he hit me. It's real. It's genuine. It gives people a great insight, and it's man. And at the end of the day, 918-455-580. I'm for anything that's pushing the state of Oklahoma forward, man. And like,
amen.
It's a lot of great. It's a lot of great talent here. It's a lot of great people here.
Yeah.
State of Oklahoma has been part of my life, really. I mean, all my life, my adult years, college years, and so, man, I'm for anything that's pushing it forward. We trying to push the envelope. I think you can see that as evident. I think that 2025 class may change the game forever for the entire state, not just OU, just for the entire state. I think that 25 class could change the game forever.
Wow.
Hope so, man, and appreciate your role in all that and identifying what the 580 needed and whatnot, and continuing to work at that. I definitely need to come down to next time y'all have one of them pro days.
Pro day, you need to come to pro day. Let me look. It's May 20th. That's the week after Mother's Day. May 20th. Yeah.
Shoot me an invite. I'll plan on getting down there.
Bet. Yeah, May 20th. I'm looking at it right now.
I'll be down there. So for sure, again, appreciate you for coming on. Always good to chat with you, and keep up the good work, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Let me know if y'all ever need anything.
I appreciate you, man.
Bet.